The video bus is here. Hello everybody and welcome back to the SDL C++ physics-based 2D platformer. This is part 2 in the series, and in this video we're just going to set things up on Linux. So let's just dive into it. The very first thing we're going to need is G++. So I'm using Pop! OS, and that's a Linux distro which is based on Debian, which Ubuntu is based on Debian. So it's essentially an Ubuntu based distro. This setup should cover most distros. I don't think there's going to be any differences, so you should be good. Well, if you're on Arc, you should be good anyway, because Arc is full of little code wizards and those guys know what they're doing. So the first thing we need to do is open up a terminal. If you're on Pop! OS, which I do recommend as a Linux distro, go to Activities, and you can actually just open up the terminal right here. Inside the terminal, we're going to type a little command, and that's sudo apt-get install G++. We're going to ask, hey, you got a password for that? You got the clearance? And go, yeah, we got the clearance. And we hit enter. Hey, look at that. No way. It actually comes pre-installed on Pop! OS, and that's very cool. So if we type G++, it's going to tell us fatal error, no input files. So that's good. It also told us which version we have, which is this 4:9. I don't know exactly what that colon means, but don't revoke my nerd card. I don't exactly know most of these version names because most times they don't make that much sense. As long as if you're not using a version of G++ from the dark ages, we're good to go. While we've got this terminal open, we might as well go sudo apt-get install. We're going to do a 2-for-1 deal, and then lib SDL2 2.0. Hit enter, and that should install all good. Now another command, sudo apt-get install lib SDL2-dev. So this is the development setup. Hit enter. What? Little typo. There's no is install. It's install. Alright, run that, and that should actually... Well, no, I pressed F7 to... What? I pressed F7, and now I can't... Maybe I pressed F6 or F5? I don't know. I don't like whatever it is I did. I can't move my cursor. I hit enter. It doesn't do anything. Alright, close the terminal. Shut it down. Shut it all down. We've got a rogue program. Alright, I'm going to open up a new terminal. Sudo apt-get install lib SDL2-dev and hit enter. Alrighty, and now it's actually working. It's going to say, are you sure you want to install it? Always say yes. Hit enter. And then it's going to install, bada bang, bada boom. So that's going to be there a while. I don't know exactly how long, but it's working. Come on, it can't be that long. Oh, yes, it can. Now we're going to install SDL image, which is just a quick little SDL extension that makes it a lot easier to set up textures. Let's go clear. There we go, clear the screen, and then go sudo apt-get install lib SDL2-image-dev. Hit enter. It's going to say, do you want to continue? Hit yes. Yes, we do. Give it the clearance. Last thing to set up is Sublime Text. So open up a web browser of your choice and go to Sublime Text. Go to Sublime Text and go to download. Click this link that says Linux repos, and then copy this command right here, this wget-q0, copy that, Control C, and I'm going to paste that into the terminal. We could type all that out, but that's going to be a lot of typing. Poor fingers will get all calloused and bruised. So just right click to paste it, right click, paste, and then hit enter. And then it says OK, meaning that it worked. Then copy the second command right here, the sudo apt-get install apt transport https, Control C, and paste that right into the terminal as well. I'll have these in the description as well. Hit enter to that, scroll down, and then select this stable echo right here. Select this one. Make sure you don't go with the dev, go with the stable one because it is stable, and paste it right in and hit enter. Scroll down, and last but not least, a sudo apt-get update. We can type that in ourselves. Sudo apt-get update. And finally, the most important command is sudo apt-get install Sublime Text. Hit enter, and that will install Sublime Text. And just like that, we got Sublime Text. So we can close out, go to your start menu or whatever it is you have, depends on the distro you have. So I'm going to go to activities and then show applications. And now somewhere around here, right here, we got Sublime Text. Ready to go. Here's Sublime Text, and this is the default of how it looks. So let's customize it to make it look a little bit better. So go into Preferences, go into Settings, and that's going to open up this window. Maximize the window, and inside there, we're going to edit a few settings. So the first setting we want to set up is add a comment, open quotes, hot_exit, and set that equal to false. The reason we set that to false, and what it does, is it just makes it a bit easier to work with Sublime Text project files. If you don't have that there, it spawns 2 windows whenever you open up a Sublime Text project file, which isn't what we want. Open more quotes, go remember underscore open underscore files, and set that to false as well. We don't want to be remembering the last file we opened and edited because we're going to be working with project files. So we don't want to open up one project file and then it's going to open up a file from a different project file. Hit enter, open quotes, and I'm going to enable word wrapping, which just makes it a bit easier to follow along for YouTube tutorials. So word wrap, I'm going to set that to true. So set that to true, open some quotes, and then type, oh, make sure you have the comma. You do need the comma. The final setting is file underscore exclude underscore patterns. Open up some square braces inside there, open up some quotations, and go asterisk everything that is a dot sublime dash project file, comma, open up some more quotations, and then go asterisk everything that is a dot sublime dash workspace. And now if we go control save, it's going to enable word wrapping. Go to preferences and then go theme, and then go with the adaptive theme. You don't have to. I just find the adaptive theme works a little bit better with the dark themes. Easier on the eyes. Also go preferences and color scheme. We're going to set our color scheme. Oh, my retinas. Oh, I feel like I've been beamed into another dimension. That's too much white light at once. Okay, we're going to go with a monokai color scheme, which is actually what we already had, and it's actually the default. All right, so you can close out of that, then go Control-Shift-P. So now we're going to disable a little setting that just makes our debug callbacks or debug messaging a lot easier to read. Control-Shift-P, scroll down, and we're looking for Install Package Control. It was successfully installed. All right. Now if we go Control-Shift-P again and we scroll down, it says we haven't installed package control, but we know we have. So just scroll down and look for package control install package. In the search, type a resource. Here we go, package resource viewer. So click that and it's going to install that package, which we do need to edit a Python file that is part of Sublime Text. And that Python file just spits out a bit of debugging information that we don't really need. So if that installed, which it should, go Control-Shift-P and then scroll down until you see package resource viewer, open resource. Scroll down until you see default and then click that. Scroll down now and we're looking for exec.py because it's a Python file. That's why it's .py. Yeah, right here. exec.py. Alright, so now we're going to scroll down. What are we looking for? Well, we're looking for the important stuff. We'll know it when we see it. Keep scrolling. Keep it going. It's somewhere around here. Just going to go with my gut on this one. Keep on scrolling. I believe it's further. 360 is where it is about. Right here. So this line right here, line 365 or 364, just add a little hashtag to the beginning of that. It's in the function finish, and what this little line does is it just spits out some debugging information of the commands we gave to actually use a build system. We don't need that because we already know what our build system is. So if we save that, control save, it should be all set up. Go Control-Shift-P. Now this one's optional. It's just going to display some icons that'll make it look nicer. So scroll down. We're looking for package control install package. So go there again, search icons and file icons. So click that and that's just going to install, which makes our folders along the side look a little nicer once we implement them. Alright, so now we can actually create ourselves a Sublime Text project file. So let's create some folders. To create that project system or that project hierarchy, go activities or just open up a terminal. Now typically I like to have a folder called dev and I keep that in the home folder. In this case, since I'm using Pop! OS, I just like to actually keep that on the desktop. But just make a folder wherever you want it. I'm going to go cd desktop. Again, you can place it wherever you want. It doesn't really matter. Just go mkdir and then name the folder whatever you want it. So I'm going to say SDL. I'm going to put that in quotes because it's going to have space in SDL2 platformer. And that's going to make that directory right there, which we're going to browse into with cd and then SDL. Now you can actually use tab to autocomplete. You'll notice that this is the name of the directory right here, but it has a little backslash. And the backslash just says, hey, if there's a space right here, which there is, just ignore it. Hit enter. So now we're inside this directory right here, and we'll notice it's empty. So now go mkdir res source bin /debug bin /release include, and that's everything we need. Hit enter, and it should create all those directories and the subdirectories as well. So if we go into bin, we'll notice we've got a debug and a release folder. So everything looking good how we want it. So the source folder is where we store our C++ source files. So those are .cbp files. Our include folder is where we store our C++ header files. So that's .h and .hpp. And then res is where we store our resources. So that's like graphics, textures, or sound files, things like those. And then just bin is where it actually outputs to, and we're going to have debug for when we're actually making the game, and then release for when we want to release it. All right, so you can close out of that terminal. We no longer need it. Now go into Sublime Text, and we're going to make this big. Open up some curly braces, and we're going to make ourselves a project file. Open quotes, and type folders, add a colon, hit enter, open up some square braces. Inside those square braces, open up some curly braces. Make sure you tab those curly braces over. Inside those squirrely braces, open quotes and type path. Add a colon to the front of that and open quotes and go bin /.. So what we're doing here is we're saying set the path of this folder, or perhaps it's a bit clearer if we actually save this first. Control Shift save. Save that to, I'm going to go to the desktop and then in the folder 2D platformer. So right in this folder where we created all of our subfolders, and you can name it whatever you want. I'm going to call it SDL2 platformer. The extension does matter, so name it as a Sublime project, and make sure you spell it word for word. All right, good to go. So now if we close out, and inside our folder right here, we'll notice we got this Sublime project file. If we double click it, it'll actually open up, not as requested. If we right click it, open with other application, open that up with Sublime Text. Now we got to explain along the side. These are our folders. Now if we go project and edit project, we can carry on editing the project. So this little path at bin / and then back says, hey, set our directory to here and then go back one. You can't just say set the path of these folders to here. It doesn't work quite like that. I don't know why, but this is a good little workaround. Add a comma to the end of that and hit enter. Open up some quotations, and inside here type build _systems. So we're going to create ourselves some build systems. Add a colon, hit enter, open up square braces, you know the drill, and then inside those square braces open up some squirrely braces. Inside there open quotes and type name. So we're going to create ourselves two different build systems. The first is for debug, the second is for release, and this is going to be the rules that govern the way C++ compiles our project. So name, set that equal to, definitely not that, I don't know what I did there, but set that equal to, we're going to call this debug. And if you just save it just like that, control save, and then you go tools, build system, you'll notice there's this debug. So now we got that, add a comma, open quotes, and then type working _dir. So this is going to set our working directory, and we want to set that to a project directory. Add a colon, hit enter, open quotes. Inside those quotes, add a $sign, wherever that is, $sign, open up a curly brace, and then close the curly brace. Inside there, type project _path. Add a comma and hit enter. Open quotes and type cmd, add a comma, and then open up some square braces. Now, if you're on Windows, you wouldn't be using these square braces, but we're on Linux, so you do need the square braces, otherwise things don't quite work correctly. The command we're going to give it is g++ -c, so we're saying, hey g++, compile some files. Now, which files? Well, we're going to compile everything inside source and everything that is a .cpp file. We're going to throw in some flags here. So std equals C++ 14. Add a -w64 to say, hey, set this as 64-bit. So produce a 64-bit executable, not w64, m64. Add another. This is -g. -g just says, hey, include a bit more debugging info. So that's kind of helpful. Add another, and that's -w all. So this is going to give us all warnings and errors, which we want to see. Now add -i. So -i and then type include. So what we're saying here with this -i is, hey, compiler, if you can't find a header file, look for it in this directory right here, this include, and add two ampersands. So that's going to complete the compiling with this first command. Now we need a second command to tell it to link. So go g++, and then everything that is a .o file, which a bunch of .o files will be generated right here, depending on how many source files we have. Stitch together all those .o files and then output it to, with a -o, to bin /debug /main. And now we're going to add some linking options. So the first is -l and then SDL2 _main, and then add another -l, and then this is SDL2, and then add a -l SDL2 SDL2 underscore image. Make sure that these are in order. They have to be in that precise order. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. After all that is done, we're going to actually run our program. So then we're going to go bin/debug/main. Add a comma to that, hit enter, open quotes, and then go source and set that equal to, open quotes, that has to be selector, and set that equal to source.c++, and then add a comma there, open quotes, and then go shell, and set that shell to true. Alright, control save that. Now let's actually create ourselves a quick little SDL program. Control in, or not even a program, we're just going to test and see if it works. So go #include, open up some angular brackets, inside there go SDL2/SDL.h, do another #include, and then go SDL2/SDL_image.h, and then go #include IOStream, just so that we can print everything out to the console quite nicely, and hit enter. Go int main. Now inside int main, go int argv, comma, and then character pointer args, and then open up some square braces. Make sure you do this exactly like so. Otherwise, there's some issues with SDL setting up and it might not initialize correctly, so make sure you do have those arguments in int main. So we're creating ourselves a little int main, which anytime in C++ you see a main and it's an int, it's the entry point for the program. So inside there, we're just going to go std:\cout, just keep it simple. Yay, we made it. And that's some excellent spelling right there. And std:\, and L. So now if we go Control-Shift-Save, so save it as, we're going to save that in source, and we're going to call this main.cpp, hit enter. And now, if we go Tools, Build System, and then select Debug, and we hit F7 to compile and run this, it should work. We cannot find SDL2_main, which I believe that's a Windows only thing, so just go into SDL2 and take out that flag that says SDL2_main. Try that again with F7 again. Yay, we made it. All right, we're winning. So now we just need to create a build system for release. So we can just copy this whole thing. Control-C, copy all those squirrely braces too, paste them in there, and add a comma after this squirrely brace. We're going to set this name to release, and instead of having this -G, replace that -G with a -O, capital O3, which says optimize this to the maximum. In addition to that, right after we go -O bin debug main, we're going to go -S, which -S just says strip all debugging symbols, which helps downsize the file. In addition to that, we're going to want to output this to bin/release. We're going to output this to release as well. So control save that. Oh, regarding that SDL2_main, we still do need it. It actually doesn't have the underscore, it's just main. So add that flag both for debug and for release. So -L SDL2 main. Now if we go Tools, Build System, and go select for release, and we hit F7 to compile and run it. Yay, we made it. And we go into bin and we go into debug. We see we got this file called main. And we also got in release this file called main as well. So the very last thing we need to do is go track down a few files. So this all works fine on our computer because we actually have a couple of shared object files. But we need to get those files in case we want to give this to somebody else so that they can play our game. So we can just close out of Sublime Text. And we're going to go on a little treasure hunt. So go to your file explorer, go to your root directory. So in Nautilus, which is this file explorer, you can just go other locations and then go to computer. So that's going to take you to your root directory, I believe. I don't know all Linux lingo, so I might be off on that terminology there. So from here, go into lib. From lib, we're looking for x86_64. Wherever that is. It's a jungle on here. My goodness, so many files to choose from, but which one? I'm assuming it's near the bottom if this is alphabetically being sorted, which it is. x86_64. So go inside there. From there, we're looking for a couple different files, and it's kind of hard to find them in this entanglement, so just go search SDL. We got some answers. Alright, so you're going to see a whole bunch of files here. Now be very careful in which file you choose. So ignore these files here. Now this seems like it's what we want, but it actually isn't. You'll notice this has a little icon. Well, what kind of file is this? Properties. This is actually a link. and you'll notice what the link target is. The link target is libSDL2-2.0 SO blah 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 blah. And if we close out of that and we see what this SDL 2.2 and we go properties, well, what does that link to? Well, that's just a link to a link. So the file we're actually interested in is down here. This file right here, libSDL2-2.0.000. So open up your file, your other project file, or project folder, I should say. Go into bin and into debug. So we're actually going to copy over that file over here that we found in Nautilus. So that's this file right here. It should be named like so. You'll notice it does not have a link icon. So this is the actual file. So hold Control, drag it over to copy it. So we've just created a copy. While we're here, we're also going to need libSDL_image, which is this one right here. Now, you'll also be noticing I've got this 1.2. That's actually because I somehow also installed SDL 1.2, which is not what we want to use. So make sure you go with the 2.2. So libSDL2_image 2.0 SO.0.2.3. So hold Control, drag that over as well. If we put this program on a different Linux computer and we tried to run it, it actually would not be able to find this, because the way it works is it goes through these weird link files, which are right here. And I don't even know why those link files exist in the first place. It kind of just muddles and confuses things. But what we got to do is rename these SO files here to whatever these link files were. So in the case of libSDL 2.2 or whatever, we actually want to right click and go rename, and rename that to just libSDL2 and then .so, and rename that. Again, with SDL_image, we want to rename it to libSDL2_image and then .so. Rename that. So make sure that these are the file names. Oh, and in addition to that, there should be a SDL main in here. Just click over here. Do we have a SDL main? Oh, we do. But it's a file. There's no libSDL main. I think that's a negative, Houston. Just like that, our game is ready to ship. All right, and bada bang, bada boom, that's all we need. So we're going to copy those SOs, those shared objects, because that's what it is. If we go properties, it's a shared library. If you're linking statically, you won't have to worry about this, but we're linking dynamically. So copy that, go back to bin, and then go into release and paste it in there. One more thing you have to keep into account: every time you add a new resource to your game, like a new sound file or a new font file or an image, like a texture, you're gonna have to copy res, Control-C, and paste it in for both debug, Control-V, and in for release. So make sure you remember that, very important. And in addition to that, you see that .o file right there? Every time you have a source file, such as main.cpp, and you decide, hey, I'm kind of done with main.cpp, and you decided to delete main.cpp, make sure you delete the corresponding .o file. So if I deleted main.cpp, I would have to delete main.o. Otherwise, you're going to get a memory leak of sorts. Alrighty, so that's everything. We are set up to run SDL code. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. We got it all set up on Linux. If you have any questions or comments, just let me know down below. Thanks for watching and subscribing. Code like, and I will be seeing you next video where we actually get into some code, start rendering a texture in SDL. So stay tuned, see you next video. Here's something everyone loves: laughing. Everybody enjoys a good old chuckle on the belly rolls. Or even if you don't have belly rolls, everyone still loves to laugh. The only problem is not everything that's supposed to be funny makes people laugh. And that's why we have treasures like McVanBuck Trophy Mosquito. McVanBuck Trophy Mosquito is a sample book for a bigger McVanBuck to come, and it's a collection of 3 hilarious stories that are written by my dad, which my dad is Peter and Mast. It's complete with illustrations. You can see we got a little illustration right there, and it's a sample for a bigger McVanBuck that will be released shortly. So let's just have a little quick read. This famous juice, I figured, was how Grandma J got the letter J in her name. Her J was a code letter, and it stood for juice. Regrettably, I once read the label on the juice package, just to make sure it was indeed juice crystals that she had been feeding us, and not her nitroglycerin heart medicine. Unfortunately, it was just the juice crystals that made the juice taste so bad. These hilarious stories are all clean humor. They're guaranteed to make you laugh. I know whenever I read it, I laugh. I'm going to be giving away 10 of these for free, and all you got to do to claim it is just send your mailing address to codergopher@gmail.com. Laughter is guaranteed in the world of McVanBuck.